With revival of direct air connectivity from 14 cities across India, Singapore is seeing a return of Indian tourists with mainly families as well as those on VFR visits. Going forward, B Srithar, Regional Director of Singapore Tourism Board, tells India Outbound that he is looking to tap 5 key segments of visitors, namely families, millennial travelers, cruise tourists, MICE and destination weddings.
Singapore is now close to pre-COVID level situations. The Indian travelers are actually coming to Singapore in higher and higher numbers over the last few months, since 1st April to now early July. So the good news is the Indian travelers who have been looking forward to Singapore opening up are now enjoying coming to travel to Singapore. The good news is also India is now connected directly to Singapore via 40 direct connecting city points, right? So across India, all the key metros, the key key city connections that were there before COVID, those connections are back. And therefore, the Indian consumer can now travel from any of the 14 cities directly to Singapore within a 3.5 to 5.5 hour flying radius. So today, you can come into Singapore if you're fully vaccinated. You can come into Singapore, quarantine-free travel. You do not have to outside in outdoor areas, no masks are required. Indoors, there's still some mask requirement, but whether it's coming to dining, lifestyle and events, entertainment space has opened up, my space has opened up. So in many ways, the Indian traveler can now enjoy Singapore close to what it was in 2019, pre-2019, right? India was our third largest source market prior to COVID, giving us 1.41 million visitors. It was our number one cruise source market pre-COVID. It's also a very key meetings and incentives market. Today, as we speak, as China is closed and therefore there are not travelers coming in to Singapore from China, Indonesia is our number one source market for visitor arrivals, and India is now our number 2 source market. What I can say is we are coming at the back of a very intense pandemic period. So the number pickup is of course going to be gradual. The heartening news is that month on month we are seeing positive increase in visitorship from India to Singapore since 1st April especially. It also coincided with the family travel season, right? So April, May, June window, we had our Family Times Now promotion where we actually gave 50% off to children under the age of 12 years old, together with Singapore stakeholders, Singapore Airlines. And that Family Times Now promotion actually also allowed a lot of the family audiences to come to Singapore over the last few months. The young Indians are also coming to Singapore. So the good news is STB has been engaging all our travel trade partner friends even through the pandemic period. We had run a series of virtual, whether fan trips, road shows, product update sessions. We even had a wellness initiative where we actually got, at the peak of all this pandemic, we got the travel trade to come in for a wellness initiative, virtual wellness initiative, and just to signal to the travel trade partner friends that we are together in this. So the good news is our engagements during the pandemic period has been very well appreciated by the travel trade partner friends. And now, as we came out of the pandemic and we are now on the way to recovery, we immediately started our engagements in person. I was happy that in March, after 2 years, we were actually in various cities from Calcutta to Hyderabad, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, where we actually engaged together with Singapore Airlines as a partner friend. We engaged all the travel trade fraternity in the various cities. And our journey continues. Come 1st August, we are going to do our 5-city roadshow. And this time, 45 Singapore stakeholders are coming from Singapore to engage the travel trade partner friends. And we are flowing through 5 different cities, Calcutta, Ahmedabad, Pune, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. So all the major attractions are coming, hotels, DMCs, tour operators, and that is then going to give the travel trade fraternity who's coming from these cities an opportunity to interact with our Singapore stakeholders and find out what are the latest offerings and get ready, because this is August. We are timing it such that we are getting ready to welcome or bring Indian travelers over to Singapore for the year-end holiday season. Our key audiences from India, of course, one main group will be families with children under the age of 12. And Singapore as a family destination is a very, very powerful message that we have in this market. And we are doing what is necessary to keep that branding, right? Singapore is a great family destination. You can come in with your family members. The product experiences that you can have at either Sentosa, Gardens by the Bay, Zoo, Bird Park, Resorts World Sentosa, Marina Bay, Singapore, you name it, a lot of interesting experiences for the family audiences. So that's going to be one very important segment that we will continue to engage and continue to say that Singapore reinvents itself and the experiences are different every time you visit Singapore. The second important segment that we are also starting to pivot and do a lot more work in is the young Indian audiences. Close to 67% of the Indian audiences are under the age of 35 years old. How do we present Singapore as a cool, happening and exciting destination to the young Indian audiences? Third segment, cruise. India was our number one cruise source market in 2019. 150,000 travelers came to Singapore for cruising. And now that Royal Caribbean and Resorts World cruises have started their cruise and it is cruising with port calls, we are looking to engaging the cruise holiday makers, and it is a very small group of audiences traveling for cruise from India at the moment. But we see a huge potential down the years for cruise holiday makers out of India. The fourth segment is meetings and incentives. India is among our top source markets for meetings and incentives. Today, as we speak, I'm happy to say that there's going to be a first major group movement that's going to happen to Singapore, close to about 2,200 pax movement. In due time, you will get to know the details. The important message to all the corporates or the trade intermediaries listening into this conversation is Singapore is very much open to M&I travelers from any sizes. Few hundred, 200, 300 pax movements, all the way to a couple of thousand movements. And one segment that I'm excited to also start opening up is weddings, right? Our pitch is Singapore is a fascinating destination, an all-encompassing city in a garden, many things you can do in Singapore. You are able to do from a range of things, from food, good stay, wellness, shopping, all of that in a city, and at the same time have some very interesting, unique wedding experiences. We are now positioning or seeking to position Singapore as a leading urban wellness haven. So the keyword is urban wellness, right? We are not saying we are a wellness resort island. No, we are not. We are an urban wellness haven. So you can come into Singapore, you do your shopping, do your sightseeing, go into your attractions, all of that. At the same time, spend 3-5 days, go into a wellness resort, enjoy yourself, and then you come back recharge. The novelty factor to encourage repeat travel. One, the Museum of Ice Cream. Every time I mention the Museum of Ice Cream, immediately everybody's face lights up, just like yours. So we've got the Museum of Ice Cream now in Singapore, the first city outside of the US to have that. We have the Slingshot, Asia's tallest slingshot, which is a new thrill ride concept opened recently at Clarke Quay, as well as Sky Helix, and this is in Sentosa, right? So Sentosa is a very familiar destination or island destination for Indian travelers. But in Sentosa now we have Sky Helix, Singapore's first open-air panoramic attraction.